Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 13 of the Two Grumpy Wolves, or more likely, actually, because Dappa's here, the Three Grumpy Wolves. We have got a massive show ahead of us tonight, let me tell you. First of all, guys, how are we doing, Sutty? How are we doing, Dappa?
Good, thank you very much. Yourself?
Very good, mate. Sutty, how about you?
Yeah, man, living the dream, boys.
That's the
Three
way,
grumpy wolves tonight.
I
Three
know,
proper
mate.
grumpy wolves as well, because he's as miserable as us too.
We've had to find another one, ain't we?
Can I just start off with this, guys? Dun 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 dun.
Guys, get involved in the comments. I can see Matt, I can see Neil, I can see Rebecca, 1, 2, 3, Carl, Mark, Sharky, Joe, Broken, Christine. Let's see if I'm missing anyone. I know there's loads of people. Scott, how we doing, Scott? And get into the chat. Make yourselves known. Make sure you like and subscribe, etc. What's going on, Dalvy? Dalvy? Probably absolutely butchered your name. What's going on, Amy? Make sure you're getting in, guys. H Media. Bloody hell, there's loads. Ricky, thank you so much for joining us, guys. For the episode 13, we've got loads to talk about. Shit Brighton results, which we all absolutely knew was coming, but even then, shocked even me with that first half performance. We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about a little thing that happened on Tuesday, which actually saw me and Dappa there, as well as some of you guys that are in the chat on the Discord as well. At the meeting where we got to meet wonderful folks who have definitely don't need any introductions. But yeah, I suppose we'll get started on the Brighton game, which Wolves lost 3-0, which honestly it could have been more. It's probably the only positive I'm going to give you tonight about this game is the fact that it only was 3-0. But Sutty, I'll start with you. What was your assessment on the absolute drubbing of 3-0 to Brighton, mate?
Evening, everyone. Fucking shit. There's no other words for it, really. There's no soul in them, is there? There's no pride in the badge.
No.
There's no creativity. I say this every week. It's fucking boring, this is. There's no fight. There's no passion. There's no will to win. There's no leaders. There's fuck all in that side. Nothing. As our manager said to you all the other night, we're the bottom of the league for a reason, and that's because we're the worst team. And we are, and that's just been year-on-year demise, unfortunately. We conceded after 37 seconds, and then we conceded a second after about 5 minutes. We could feasibly have been 5 or 6 down in the first half because it was an absolute calamity. It was so shit. It's beyond words. It's one of the worst performances that I've ever seen under a Fosun tenure. And there's been a few bad ones of recent years. How can I put it, Dan? I don't think there's one positive other than that. There's only one positive in that game, and that was the final whistle, because that saved us from more fucking humiliation, because this lot might as well have stayed on the pebbles of fucking Brighton Beach and had fucking fish and chips, because I'm sure there'd been more fucking movement in them on the beach than there was on that fucking pitch. Dreadful.
Absolutely. Dappa, obviously, he's probably said all you can say really there, but is there anything you want to add to the game before we sort of break it down a little bit?
When's the fixtures come out for next year's, guys?
Hey.
For that, like Sutty just said there, I looked at the formation. I thought, oh, he's actually playing 3 up top. And that was miles apart. And the other thing is, Chan was up top. We ain't seen him for 10 games, so he's come out the wilderness. he's chucked him up on top on his own, and oh God, you just don't know what to say. And then you got Armstrong, who is a number 9, what should be in that forward position. He's left back, he's midfield, Mane's dropping in, he's left back. It's just, and like you say, after 37 seconds, that was it, game over. And did we have faith at 1-0, even 2-0, that this man has got tactics or anything on the bench or shape? Can he change the shape? Lo and behold, like he does every week, first sub is up for a wing back. That's it. Turn the telly off. Enjoy me Saturday.
Yeah, nearly put your foot through the telly. That's what I felt like doing, especially at half time. I think that is on record, with for me at least, watching. I think that's the worst first half performance I've seen from a Wolves team in recent memory. We didn't register a single shot on target. We didn't even register a percentage of XG,
Terrible.
which is unreal. That means we didn't create a single chance in their box, guys, in a half of football. When you are absolutely the team that has nothing left to play for, all you need to do is go out and show something. And they showed nothing. The only thing they showed is the fact that they don't want to be here. They don't want to be here. They don't want to play for this manager. They don't want to play for this club. They don't want to wear the famous old gold. They don't want to make us proud. They don't give a shit about us or anybody else. The players, absolutely, like Philip just said it here, the players don't care. And we'll come back to that. We'll come back to that because a certain individual thinks they do care. And our manager came out after this game and said, they've got to go. Simple as that. Have I not been clear? They've got to go. His words, not mine. We've said that all season because we've been fed one of the worst... honestly, it genuinely is, and it will go down as one of the worst Premier League sides to ever grace the league. That's genuine.
7th worst ever, Dan.
We have lost to every single team this season.
19,
we haven't
I think
won a single game away. It is absolutely the worst it could possibly be. The only good thing is the fact that we've beaten Derby's record. But after that, oh my God, man, that first half performance is despicable. Honestly,
like
it really is.
Like you said, he threw the half the team under the bus in his interview. So turn up Sunday. What's half these? They're not turning up anyway. So they're definitely not going to turn up Sunday listening to him to say, is he talking about me or you? So they're all going to down tools even more. So come Sunday, I think we're going to get smashed.
Well, we'll talk about
downing tools. I think they've had all their fucking tools stolen. Fucking dreadful. Honestly, I struggle to understand how footballers, they're not the best paid in the Premier League, but let's put it this way. You on 50 grand a week. You ain't on bad money, are you? Now, I don't care if you're happy or not. You are highly, highly privileged to be earning £50,000 a week. And for that, I want to see you remain safe mode when we were down to 9 men at Borough on your back. You can't fucking move at the end of the game. I don't really care if you fucking lose.
Yeah.
But if you're like that and you cannot stand up at the end of the game, I will applaud you. But unfortunately, there's fuck all to applaud with this lot. They're a load of fucking mercenaries. They are rats, I'm telling you now, because they'll all be gone. We'll be left with a few dregs that can't get a move. And these fuckers just go. I do not relate to any single person, and that's from the manager down all through the team. I don't care if you think João Gomez is a great player and all this, and just fuck off.
Yeah.
Just go. We're going to have to rebuild, and we need you to go as quick as possible. And if you do the right thing and join some fucker, whether it's Atletico Madrid or just go, because we need that money to try and do something. Please do not fucking hang around, or a direct message to Mr. Jackson, do not fucking hem around for a fucking extra €1 million. Get him gone, get the money in the bank so that you can try and do your job. But that's another thing that we'll come on to, because I ain't convinced you're the man to do that fucking job either.
Yeah, we'll get into all that. Don't you absolutely worry about that. Listen, we're not going to stay on the Brighton game too much because, let's be honest, if they're coming out and saying, essentially, we should just be looking forward to the future. Stop moaning about now. Stop moaning about the present. So I'll tell you what, to that regard, right, we will lose the next 2 games because we've got a manager and basically everybody, apart from Mr. Nathan Shi, who honestly just came out and said right at the end, actually, I do want to win the next 2 games. Whereas them pair, and I'm going a little bit ahead of schedule here, but I think it matters because we've got 2 more games now. We want to show some momentum going forward. At least play the players they think are going to be here in this core, right? So we can see what you're going to do around those particular players. And those particular players need to play out their fucking skin, or that core can also fuck off as well. Because I genuinely wouldn't be arsed, like Sutty just said, if they all just fucking left and we just started again. I know that's probably shit because there's no way we're getting promoted without any sort of core, as they keep saying. But at the same time, they're fucking useless. They're maxed out, as he's been saying. So just get them gone. Just get them gone so we can try again. Listen, I mean, 3-0. The first goal, just the defending was absolutely ridiculous. The fact that you've lost the ball in the midfield from our own throw-in, and then you've not been able to keep a solid back line when you're playing a back 5, back 3 if you want to, but in that transition we were a back 5. We had everyone back, but they were all over the place. Literally fucking embarrassing. Nowhere near the winger making the run. Matoma had us on fucking toast as always. He must love playing us. I mean, Nelson Semedo still has nightmares about that guy. Fucking hell. But Christ me, I'd have Nelson Semedo here now, because on that right-hand side, guys, I don't know about you, Per, but that right-hand side is absolutely fucked. It's the worst part of our team. And people, and I've said this before, they know. Their manager said, look at that right-hand side. Just run down there. Run down that channel. Then fucked. They ain't getting there. And then whip an early ball in the box because none of our defenders are awake to be able to get rid of it. 1-0. Absolute shocker. Then it comes to a corner, Sutty. And all they've got to do is learn from their previous mistakes against Sunderland in the last fucking fixture. And do you really think they can do that? Do you think they can think, you know what, all I've got to do, I'm the man, I'm the big man, right? All I've got to do is make it hard for him because he's taller than me. But if I make it hard for him and I block the zone out properly, he ain't getting to it. But he gets to it. And it's not even hard, is it? It's so easy.
Easiest part of the game, Dan, defending. Defending is the easiest part of the game. Fact. All you've got to do is put your body between you and the ball. These fuckers don't even fucking jump.
Don't even jump.
Like I said to you last week, they're like something out of a fucking crime film where the mafia's fucking put their feet in lumps of concrete before they chuck them in the fucking river. It's fucking unbelievable. This is 50 grand a week. Some of these are on 50 grand.
Yeah.
Just honestly, just fuck off. Just go. Just fuck the game off. Let's get to the fucking nitty gritty because I'm sick of talking to these fucking
I know. Well,
And
it's
I think the other thing is, Dan, do
go
you
on,
know, like,
Dappa.
sorry, Dan, is the lad's been here now 6 months, and for 25 games or 28 games, we're conceding the same goal. The cross is coming in, he's allowed to come in, left or right or down the middle. Now, after like 5-6 games of seeing us conceding a goal, wouldn't you set us up better? As in, like, we know the ball's coming in, we're weak in this. So for like 28 weeks, you've not learned how to defend. And then we're playing 5 at the back, so Sandy should be a sweeper. So he should be dropping back, picking up the second balls. But with that flat across the back four, anything comes over or from the side, them like this. I think he's doing zonal marking and not picking up. I mean, last week, the big lump goes on the back post, and a second goal scores a goal, and Gomez is defending him. He's been told to go against that big lump. Now, all training, I do believe good managers, when they finish work, whatever club they're at, they go back home and they still stood in their opposition the week after. Your Matoma, Lima didn't play very well last week, so he subs him up at half time. So he decides to start him against one of the best wingers. The bloke is just not doing his own work. He's like, you've got one of the best wingers in the division, and you're going to put that young man you took off last week at half time. Now, I'm not saying this is the best tactic, but it's the only tactic. I would have said to Jackson, you've got the pace to keep up with him. You follow him for a piss. If he goes for a piss, you go with him. Don't go over the halfway line because you're bloody useless. But what you can do is defend a little bit as a right back kind of thing. And I'll be setting that lad up just to, like I said, follow him for a piss. But week after week, we're watching a repeat of the same pissing goals every week. If you rewind the last 15 games, all the goals exactly the same. So what's he doing on the field?
All we got to do is be tighter. We just got to be tighter with marking. That's it. That's literally it. Just be tighter to the man. Pick your man and be tight to it.
As well, though, we keep harping back to this, and we're going off a bit spec here, but it's so apparent that there's not one leader on that pitch who's organising it. Yeah. I keep going back to Cody. I'm not for 1 minute advocating we go back and buy Cody. But what Cody was an unbelievable organiser. And if you went one down, he was the one that was, Gene, you were back up again. Come on, we're 1-0 down. It's 0-0 again. We go again.
Yeah.
Right? And he would never let anybody rest on their laurels or feel sorry for themselves. He'd G you up. We've got no one. There's no leaders in there. Totti Gomez, your fucking captain. Are you taking the piss? He's fucking almost mute. Yeah, I don't hear Totti Gomez telling people where to go in the box.
He's barely had an interview.
I'm stood on the south bank, 10 rows fucking back, and I'm shouting at them to pick such and such and that up. It's fucking terrible, honestly. It's so disorganised, whether it's zonal marking or man-for-man marking. Zonal marking is just absolute suicidal if you do not defend that area. Suicidal. You might as well just all fuck off and say, go on, have a free header.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Have a free header.
Right.
If you're not defending that space that you're in, fucking forget it. And unfortunately, we don't have any players with a brain cell between them that can organise a piss up in a brewery, let alone organise a back line. It ain't never going to work. It's going to have to be a free for all this summer. We ain't just buying a new spine here. We're fucking buying a squad, and I ain't fucking joking because, like I said, he said the other night, I want to keep 5 or 6 players. 5 or 6 players? Are you taking the fucking piss? Fuck me.
I know.
Who are these 5 or 6 that want to stay here?
Well, I don't even think it's 5 or 6 players that want to be there. I think it's just 5 or 6 players that they want to be there. Do you know what I mean? I think they've just got to convince them to stay. I don't think they're truly, really up for the project, if you want to call it that. Anyway, Listen, it's Brighton. We always lose at Brighton, but you want to show a little bit of something, and ultimately, Dappa, we ain't showed fuck all, have we? So we've come away with another fucking loss. And the terrible thing is they just don't look interested. So the next couple of games, they're just right off straight away, aren't they? So listen,
Yep.
listen, guys. I'm going to put a couple of links in the chat. Feel free to get into a call with us. Just by following that link right there, you will be put into the green room. Someone will welcome you. Make sure you know what you're doing. Stay in there, and we will drag you into the live calling stage, and you can have your say, basically. And yeah, makes a massive difference to hear you guys as well, because that's part of our thing now, isn't it? We've got a community of awesome people. And yeah, it should be great. Luke says, Dappa, nice to see you, mate. Debut, big man. Yeah, he's done really well so far, Dappa. Keep it up, brother.
Thank you.
So, Sutty, I got back from the meeting, and you said, all right, tell me what's happened. And I was mega scatterbrained, but I said everything I could say, right? And you came up with a brilliant idea, because you weren't at the meeting. But myself, thank you to Sharky in the chat. Shout out Sharky. I was there, and Dappa, which was also there as well. And you said it'd be nice if you kind of asked us a few questions, because you know it's different when you're hearing it just with just a bit of audio, isn't it? You know what I mean? I think people don't really understand the how it felt in there and how it was set up and the kind of people that were around. So yeah, it'd be nice to you know be able to cast our minds back a little bit, Dapper, and tell Sutty how it was.
You're in the hot chair. You're in the hot chair, Sutty.
Yeah, here he is in the middle. Look, Bosha,
The boss.
So obviously, I've met Nathan Shi and Matt Jackson and all the relevant people. I've met them back in January. So because there's a lot of people saying, why weren't you there? We as a fan alliance all made a pact that when this happened, this fans forum, that we would not apply to go, which is only fair because you want as many people within the fan base to be able to have their own say, and nothing should be closed shop.
No.
I've been having this discussion tonight on a different forum. Nothing should be closed shop. There should be no secrets. If you're part of the trust, if you're part of the fan alliance, if you're part of the fan advisory board, I'm in strong belief that as soon as you have information, you should dish that out.
Yes.
Okay, within 24 hours, that should be dished out. Why were you there? But unfortunately, over the years, there's been a bit of secrecy and all of this sort of stuff, and it hasn't gone down very well. So my idea, like Dan's just said, was to basically throw a few questions at you two. You were there. I've heard parts of it. I listened to it all, and it was quite feisty at times. Very, how can I put it? Emotional, I would say, is a good word, because people are frustrated, and rightly so. They should be frustrated. If you're not frustrated with the situation that we're in as a football club, then I would almost say that you're part of the problem here. You've got to be a little bit angry. There's certain levels of anger. Mine's through the roof, as are these two lads here. But I found Nathan Shi to be quite articulate. He's clearly not stupid, and he's clearly been put in a position of power to win some sort of trust back. Firstly, Dan, how would you describe Nathan Shi? How did he come across to you?
I think he like I think I've seen quite a few people say this, but it's very true. Out of the three, he was probably the one that had some credit after it, really, which is crazy because you know how much of a Fosun outer, if you want to call me one of those, that I am. You know, I got rid of my season ticket, which my dad held for a very, very long time because of Fosun and Jeff Shi, and ultimately he's replaced by Nathan Shi, And this is the first time I've actually seen Nathan Shi, to be able to talk and to be able to hear what he's got to say. And I actually think that he came across very well. I think he was quite funny, jovial at times, and I think that it wasn't like a take the piss sort of thing. It's kind of like breaking the ice a little bit, kind of trying to get down to a human level. Which, to be honest with you, as much as you probably think that doesn't mean anything, I've met Jeff Shi, and he had no fucking character to him at all. It was like literally you could put a cardboard cutout of him out, like literally, and just press play on a fucking tape recorder of things he said in the past, because he didn't give anything away, barely ever wanted to be seen or talked to. And if you look at Nathan, at least he's taken onto account of things that we've wanted. Yes, okay, it was always going to be the case that he made tickets cheaper because he just had to. But he took it into account when Dappa started singing the Liquidator. And he took that into his stride and said that he's going to have an extra meeting regarding that. But I think my answer to you, Sutty, is just he was a lot more open and a lot more understanding, and he was able to articulate himself well enough. Yes, okay, it was a little bit, as people have been saying, wishy-washy at times, didn't really give true answers, but he's given a lot of promises, which, to be honest, I didn't expect. Because I wasn't at that meeting you were at, Sutty. But I took that at face value, that they're just trying to sell you one. They're just trying to say, look, we're going to get up at the first time of asking. And bear in mind, that wasn't that far in the season, really, compared to what it is now. They could have gone back on that. They could have gone, look, you know what? After the results, after the players' performances, we've decided that actually it's not going to be as easy as we think it's going to be. And we want to be honest about it. But they haven't. They've doubled down. And I think that takes a lot of bravery. So I'm not Fosun in. I'm not Nathan in. I'm not fucking any of these twats in as such. But I am willing to see if this guy, all the things he said, there's some sort of truth in them. I'm willing to see.
Yeah, Dappa, you've got to sort of give them a little bit of credit as well, because they've come back as well on Tuesday night, and I did hear Daz Ale say, "Can we do this again in 6 months' time to see where we're at?" And again, he's put himself up. You can't have a go at the bloke, because he said, "Yep, we'll do it again. We'll see where we're at in 6 months' time." And he does seem quietly confident, doesn't he, that we're going to have something to be proud of next season. Is that the impression you got of him?
Yeah, 100%. After the meeting, before that, like a lot of us, I was thinking, Jeff Shi's the leader. He's just his yes man, and he's just, after the protest, I've just put him in to quiet us down. Go away, quiet. But after the meeting, I think it was hour and 40, supposed to be for 2. Dan still had his hands up, but they wanted to wrap up 20 minutes before. Finished the meeting, I thought, oh, I'm getting a bit of butterflies here, because I'm thinking of the past, the first 3 years, that success we have, your Raoul's, your Nevis's. Can we get a bit of that back again and make all these unhappy fans happy again? So as he's going on, and every question that was through at the bloke, he done it strong. Every question, he blowed them away. Even the one where he said, you want to do the meeting? Can we do a meeting 3 or 4 months down into the season? Quietly just went, yes. Very confident, Sutty, very confident man. And every question about the finances, he could have easily said, one question was about the ground, when we're going to redevelop the ground. And basically, he could have said, we're working on it, bullshit us. You know, like that prick before would have bullshitted us. Would have gone, yeah, it's in the pipeline. The prick wasn't even speaking to the council. Even on his last interview, he said he was. The council had come out and said, he's not speaking to me. So he's a bullshitter. So when we was asked about the ground, he said, yeah, 3 to 5 years. He gave us an honest opinion. He didn't bullshit up and said it's in the pipeline. I'm talking to the council. But I'll get back to you in the future. 3 to 5 years. And everything about the finances, the footballer, even he said he's not happy. I've been watching, he said, I've been had interviews weekly with Edwards and I've told him I'm not happy, what's going on. And like I say, yeah, I think he's the man for the job. Yeah, he speaks from his heart, got a lot of passion about the club. And even he looked back and even he looked back at the downfall after the 3 years. He spoke to us about Raoul's injury. And I think he's gone back to see that was successful here. So why has he gone to shit? So he's gone all the way back 6 years to see where the downfall that would have been from selling people, your nettos and stuff like this, and replacing them with junk. So I think he's done his own work, Sutty.
That's good. Dan, he went on to start with, he sort of covered it and crossed it off the list straight away about Jeff Shi. So I won't go over this
He did, yeah.
for too long. It was one of the first things he said on the interview, that Jeff was there. He was on business. He was moving away when his daughter's finished school. I think next month he's going back to China. So he has admitted that Jeff was at Compton. To me, personally, absolutely stupid fucking move getting him to go to Compton. He could have signed a piece of paper anywhere, couldn't he? But I mean, it's going to rile people, isn't it? So, but he's admitted it. He's held his hands up. He said it was once. You know, it doesn't matter whether it was once or it was 10 times. It was wrong. So he's admitted it and he's held his hands up. So you've got to give him a bit of credit for that. But he was still adamant, wasn't he? That Jeff is nothing to do with the club. Nothing to do with him directly. He reports straight back to the owner. That's basically what he was saying, wasn't he? But then he was going on about we crossed over to Matt Jackson. Now, as I've told you, I've met all of these people, and Matt Jackson. I don't want to get too personal here, but I get a little bit of arrogance off Matt Jackson. Bit. Yeah, I'm being kind here, by the way. I'm trying to be a little bit diplomatic, which is hard to come by from me sometimes. And I always get the feeling that Matt Jackson has been shuffled around the pack at Molineux over the last 6 years, and sort of everything from tea lady up to head of recruitment. And this, for me, along with the manager and tactics, is vitally important, especially in this season. Dan, did he convince you that he's the man to head what I would say is probably one of the biggest transfer windows that we've had in decades?
No, and I'll tell you why. Because Dappa was the one, guys, I don't know if you know this, now you've listened to it, but he was the one that made the question regarding the players not being good enough and not giving enough and not giving a shit, basically, wasn't it, Dappa? And you got a big round of applause, and I was part of that. And I thought, you know what, I'm fucking proud of him here because he's absolutely spot on. These players, they have not given enough, right? And all Matt Jackson had to say after that applause was fair enough. You know, I get what you guys are saying. You know, on paper, it has looked really bad. But I can say there has been times where they've really, really, you know, wanted to go for it. But he just barefaced lies. He just, the first time you hear him, he's snarky about the fact we're clapping. And it doesn't really come across on the audio. But it was awkward, Sutty. It was really fucking awkward. He was almost like, don't know what you guys are clapping for. Like really arrogant. Don't know why that really, demands clapping, because they do care and all this shit. And I was like, we all started going crazy basically at that point. And he was just he just came across like a spoilt twat, basically. And he didn't want to hear us out. It was his way or the highway.
100%.
And I'm sorry, but when you've got someone who's going to be that guy that gets you into our football club, and you act like that to your fans, by the way, and he knows that he's being recorded and that it can be played back, what's he like behind closed doors? Do you see what I'm trying to say here? Yeah. I don't like the guy. And I've seen people say, well, you ain't got to like him. Players have. Agents have. Do you know what I mean? There has been a lot of times, and I can tell you this categorically, we've had players on a fucking plane to come to Compton. But they've had agent talks with certain people, and it's gone tits up. And now I can fucking see why. Because if this twat was the one who was shaking my hand and telling me to sign on a dotted line, mate, I'd stick the pen in his eyeball. Because he is an absolute nuisance. I don't like how he came across at all, Sutty. Saying about the players, I'm sorry, mate. Read the fucking room, mate. Why the fuck do you think we're all gathered here? For our own fucking... Are we here for a laugh? Is everything as rosy as you're making it? Because if everything was as rosy as you're making it, my friend, you'd be sat next to Jeff Shi. There wouldn't be protest. We wouldn't be all sat there on a Tuesday afternoon after work. So get off your high horse and answer the question truthfully. Because you've gone on record of lying next to Jeff Shi at the last interview, which was a car crash, and I've listened to that back. And let me tell you guys, I implore you to listen to Matt Jackson and Jeff Shi. He agrees with every fucking thing that twat said. Yet he's the one saying that he was the problem and that he wouldn't let him sign players. What's the truth, Matt? Because that contradicts. That's that you're being a hypocrite, bro. We aren't fucking stupid. And at face value, Sutty, he is a nightmare. So if he's like that with us, I dread to think what he's like with the players. I really do.
Well, as you know, like I said, I've met him and I've had a chat with him, and he is very. How can I put it? I think he's quite cold towards supporters. I don't think he's very sort of accommodating. I'm pretty sure that's what you were going on about as well, Dappa, because I heard your part of the interview on the WM radio recording, and where you were telling him, you said we're going to punch our way out of it. How did he come across to you, mate? Did you think the same as Dan, or do you think he's the man to be able to be heading a recruitment, like I say, of what I deem? I don't know if anybody else agrees with me, but I think this is make or break for us. This has got to be right, this transfer window. And like you said, we've got to spend a lot of money. You're on air saying that. So I agree with you. We have got to spend a lot of money. And I just want your point of view on, do you think he's the right man as well? Because there's a lot of people in the comments here are giving him an absolute slating. So as good as Nathan Shi came across, I don't think Matt Jackson come out of this smelling of roses. What do you think, mate?
Literally polar opposite, and a complete dickhead, sort of an absolute dickhead. Now, when somebody's got a comment and there was a round of applause, it could have been anybody in the room. Just try and shut them fans down clapping against the comment to say, I find it very interesting that you guys are more clapping the previous comment. Now, listen to me. These people do have pride and passion. The room went up, mate, and he shut up like this. And then with any other comments, it seemed to come up a bit and like trying to level out with them. You'd already been, you're under the cosh, mate. Them fans seem right through you from that. When you try to tell them fans not to clap a certain comment, it don't have to be mine. It could have been anyone's. And then he was on about, I was a captain. I think it was Norwich. I'm not sure. He was a captain of Norwich. I know what it takes to get promoted. I thought, and then I started, that's when I started done the liquidator, because he was just talking waffle. He was just doing PR stuff, trying to settle it down, bring down it to his, to his reason, like talk about that. And Ed was the same, but we can talk about Edwards in a bit. But for me, if this football club is going to invest a lot of money, and he's the one saying we've got scouts over in abroad and people are living up trying to big us up like that, he's not the man for this job. Until we get good footballing knowledge in people around Nathan to guide the young man, because he sounds passionate, Nathan. He seems like he's going to go for us. Until he gets a good team round him, this football club's going nowhere under Jackson. Not a chance.
Well, it's like cogs, isn't it? They've all got to be oiled and they've all got to be turning in the same direction to make that engine run. And I think the one cog is doing all right for 6 months.
Did you say cog or cock?
Cog.
Okay.
That's about right.
And then we come back to the gaffer. Now, listening in, for me, I think Jackson took a lot of pelters, but this must have been really uneasy for Rob Edwards. Rob Edwards made a comment that if we were in the National League, he'd have left Middlesbrough for us. Now, we all know that's bollocks. He's not going to leave Middlesbrough to come to Wolves if they were in the National League. There's a reason he's come to Wolves. Obviously, he has got a bit of a tie to Wolves, and it's close to where his family are and what have you. But he's also on, I believe, 3 times as much money as he was, 5 times as much money as he was at Middlesbrough. And money talks. Because if I offer you a job for £1,000 a week and you're only on 200 quid a week to do the same job, you're going to fucking take it. It's as simple as that. There's no loyalty in football. All this bullshit, I love the club and this club means the world to me. Rob Edwards has actually got a track record for jumping ship. He got promoted with Forest Green. They won the League Two title I think it was back in 2021, 22, something like that. They won the league. He then texted his chairman at the time and told him that he would be joining Watford. And the chairman was furious, and he joined Watford for 3 times more money. And he lasted 15 games. And like everybody does at Watford, they get the sack, and he's come away with a big payoff. He then goes to Luton Town. He inherited a side that was 8th, and that Nathan Jones had got flying at the right time of the season, might I add, because they were the team in form. And he didn't really have to do a great deal, to be honest, and he got them up. And nobody really thought that Luton Town would stay up, did they? Let's be honest. And he did all right. He got 30-odd points, I think, with Luton. And, they at one point, it looked like they might just survive in 17th place. But the following season is the season that you must look at his record. So he's inherited a side that was on the up. He's just left it alone and it's got promoted. The following season, nobody thought they'd stay up. They went down, but they went down with a fight. The next season, they were favourites to come straight back up. And I believe in the February time, they were in 20th place, and Rob Edwards gets the sack. Now, am I right in thinking, Dappa, that he said it wasn't down to him that they got the sack? So if he's saying things like that, because he's been quite vocal of late saying, what's happening at Wolves, none of it's his fault. So we seem to have a track record of a manager, a head coach, that it's never his fault. And that rings alarm bells with me. Does it you, mate?
Yep. As soon as he was going through his career, I didn't really want to listen to his Luton career. Somebody asked him a question, so he had to tell him about his history, why he's good for Wolves. So one of the lads ripped him a new arsehole and said, "Do you know, in 150 years of Wolves history, you are the worst manager." Blah blah blah. They ripped him a new arsehole. The lad did. So he come back and then he was saying, with Luton, exactly what he said 2 weeks ago. Wolves, it's not my fault. He was trying to come back to that question. It was really not harsh. It was straight to the fucking throat, basically, Sutty. And then he was going through, we got relegated. Then I had to get rid of these certain names of the players. They went elsewhere out. We tried to get players in. And then he said, I looked them dead in the eyes and giving all this spiel about passion and pride. And then he said, it's not my fault, Luton, because I got the sack in January. So same again, he's passed the book from a previous job where the lads just ripped him a new arse. He came out looking good in his comment to say, it's not my fault. He's got this thing where, Sutty and Danny, if you've doing a mistake, you'll come out to them fans, look, today I fucked the team up. The tactics was shit. I've got, you own your hands up. He's not one to put his hands up, i.e. this week, and it's the end of the season. They've got to go. There's no more games to play. Other two, we're down, we've gone. So now he's turning on the players that he said previously they're working the bollocks off Monday to Friday on the training ground. 2 weeks later, he's fucking threw him under the bus. So he's got a great knack how to twist so it comes to him. That he's coming out smelling a rosy, Sutty. And like I said, all with Jackson's comments, and then we moved on to Edwards. Every question he'd hark back to what he'd done before. And I shouted out, Danny, I was saying, he was talk about Wolves. Yeah, I was a bit rowdy. Talk about Wolves. I don't want to know about bastard Luton. What are we doing at the future? Why should you be the football manager for the Championship and spend 150? Why should you be the man to spend that money? And he's not Sutty. He's just full of shit. He might be a lovely bloke behind the scenes, but as a football manager, hasn't got a clue.
Did you get that sort of take of it as well, Dan? Did you leave that meeting thinking Rob could be actually the right man for this job? I know what you're going to say, but I've got to ask you this question because I've been saying it for. Well, I didn't think he was the right man for the job in the first place, but obviously I don't appoint these managers, and for me, he is the last link to Jeff Shi. So am I right in thinking, Dan, that Nathan Shi has no allegiance or loyalty to Rob Edwards? And within the comment of Rob Edwards saying at one point, we just want to get this season over and done with and reset.
Yeah.
And did Nathan Shi look at him and said, well, I want to win 2 games, so I'll be watching them closely. So that to me, and other podcasters have said, oh no, Rob Edwards is going to be in charge at the beginning of the season. He might be. But does that not give you that little bit of inkling that the guy at the top might just be a bit ruthless and say, no, I'm not putting up with that? Because over the last few seasons, we've finished seasons so bad, it's just rolled on to the next year. We can't afford that this year. So my question to you, Dan, is, do you think he'll be here?
Well, let me just start by saying this guy wanted so badly to say whose fault it was, but he couldn't because Nathan's next to him. He wants to say it's Fosun's fault. When he said it's not my fault, well, who is it then? Now, if he had any bottle, he'd have said something like, I don't think we've replaced players properly, which is the truth. I don't think we've had enough ambition. And people said that, by the way. Nathan himself said we weren't ambitious. So have a bit of bottle about you, Edwards, and tell us, if it's not your fault, who is it? And he wouldn't do it. And I know what you're saying. I know what everyone's going to say. He's never going to say something like that with Nathan next to him. I think Nathan would have turned around and been like, fair play. Like, I reckon Nathan would have been like, so you're saying that, you know, a lot of it's down to the fact that Jeff was here Jeff's obviously ignoring it, ignoring the people that are actually putting transfers across, keeping Uncle George happy, etc., etc. And he'd have gone, yeah, I do, to be fair. But you know what? Now we've got this trio. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be different going forward. But that is genuinely how it was. I'd have had a lot more respect for him, but I haven't, because he just hasn't got enough bottle for me. I don't think he's got enough bottle to be and he's not a nasty person. And to some degree, I think we need someone who's going to be a little bit nasty when it counts, because I just don't think he is. I think we've seen a little bit of it, but like I think it was Fancast who I was listening to earlier said that it comes across a little bit like he's acting. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like he's just trying to be a little bit more of a pantomime villain instead of actually saying what he wants to say. I don't think he's the right guy. I just don't think he is able to attract players to this club, and I don't think he's able to adapt a team when he's been on a losing streak. I don't think he's that guy that you want, because ultimately, I really genuinely cannot see, guys. I can't see Wolves winning for a good while. I think it'll be the odd win here and there and whatever. I can't see what they're trying to say that'll happen, because it'll only take a little bit of an upset. And I just don't think Edwards is the guy to be able to turn it around if that happens. So, I don't know. I've just got no confidence in him, Sutty.
Do you think that obviously Matt Jackson's very loyal to him? Because for me, this is how it seems. If those two can stick together, they'll be quite strong as a unit, and Matt Jackson can bounce off Edwards and Edwards can bounce off Matt Jackson. I think if there was a stronger character, and I'll just give you a name, I'm not for 1 minute suggesting he's going to come back, but if Nuno was with Matt Jackson, I think Matt Jackson would be taught a lot of manners somehow. And he wouldn't put up with any spiel that Matt Jackson would give him. But it's almost, to me, like Rob Edwards is just glad to be here. And I don't personally want somebody who's just glad to be here. I don't care if you've got an affinity to the club or an affection with the club and its supporters. I want you to win football matches, and that is all that bothers me. I'm not bothered whether you come up to the South Bank and fist pump after every game. To be honest, I find that a bit cringy, because that never used to happen. That's just a new thing. If you win a game of importance, fair enough, but look, you don't have to come up
every week.
Yeah, just clap the fucking fans and go down the tunnel. Start thinking about the next game. You've won a game. That's what you're paid to do. To win football matches. And unfortunately, they've all so underperformed from top to bottom that it's almost meaningless when they do these little sort of cameo things. I think we need, as a club, to get back to basics. I'm just not trusting in the two direct people that are going to be pushing players into this football club and picking players to play for this football club. They don't fill me with confidence at all. And if they don't fill me with confidence, I don't think quality players will be filled with confidence by them either. And I think it's going to be a very, very difficult sell with both of those two in, trying to sell the club to prospective players. Now, we sort of move along a bit now. What did you think of his spiel on infrastructure and facilities at the ground? what sort of came out in that and future plans for the ground? What do you think they're going to spend any money, Dapper? Do you think they're going to, because the Steve Bull, as we all know, is not fit for purpose. It's going to have to be done at some point. But Jeff just used to sort of bat it off. Did Nathan give you any sort of answers or timescales when improvements to the ground were going to be made?
Yeah, he absolutely agreed. He said he's had a look around the facility and he's not happy. Like I said previously, he has put 3 to 5 years on the plan on this. It's one of them, Sutty, is like the ground should have been done. When we first Fosun took over, somebody got the sack for releasing the plans of the new stadium. He's gone now. That she sacked him for releasing that. Now, 7 years down, she said we've got 10, maybe 11,000 season tickets waiting. That's a hell of a lot of people, Sutty. So as a finance company, you think, oh, more bums. That means more shirt sales, more ticket sales, more burger, more beer sales. 7 years down the line after he said in the last interview, I think it was the last interview, he has spoke to the council. No, he hadn't. The council came out and said he hasn't spoke to us. So he was a liar on that. The stadium should have been done under Jeff's regime. It should have been up and running now, Sutty. It should have been beautiful. Maybe 45, 50,000 people sitting there on a Saturday. Great. But Nathan did come out and said, yeah, well, I have looked at it. And it's going to take 3 to 5 years to do that. So a lot of planning to do. I suppose he has got to talk to the councillors, a lot of contractors. You can't just do it within over a year. He has to, like you said, check all the footings, get a conveyor in there, consultant, look at it, the design. So I suppose 3 to 5 years is probably the normal way to build such a big structure like that. So Nathan said 3 to 5 years. So will it happen? He might want to happen. Will Fosun do it? Not so sure, Sutty. I don't think they're going to even look at that. Them looking at the capability of the stand as it is now and thinking, yeah, then pulling in 32, 33 if we do that. But obviously, we had a lot of foreign fans coming over as well, Sutty. So I said, like, if we done it 6 years ago, we got places to put the away fans. We've got people to put the kids in a special area where it's more friendly. They've let us down. Will Fosun release, what would it cost? 40, 50, 60 million to do this? I don't think they're going to release the funds. I think Nathan has got big ambitions. And if he asks the question to the big dog upstairs, they're going to say, no, another year. Yeah.
Well, the North Bank cost, I believe, £18 million to build when it was built. When was the North Bank built? About 2013 or something like that. So that cost 18 million. In today's real estate terms, that's now about 29 million with interest rates and all that. So it's a bigger structure, the Steve Bull stand. So I think you'd be looking at circa 40 million quid. And they'll be looking as an investment company on how long it's going to take them to get their 40 million quid back. So I'm a bit sceptical about the 3 to 5 years. I don't actually see them doing anything until that stand is condemned, and I'm led to believe on certain reports it's got 2 years life. It's subsiding. So I'm not so sure that he's going to get the chance to wait 3 to 5 years. I think they will have to do it. But obviously there's a lot of planning and what have you goes into that. Thanks for that, mate. Did they give any indication on what would happen, Dan, if we don't go up next year?
See, this was something you can take either way, really. You can either take this as, I'm happy that they're not thinking about anything but the ideal plan. Or you can take it as it's a little bit naive to not have a backup plan. Now, it also could be a big load of PR. You know, it might win them over if you just say, we've got all the energy and it's all moving in the same direction, etc., etc. It's all a load of PR bollocks, isn't it? Let's be honest. But he didn't say that they have any sort of plan in mind for if we weren't to be promoted. And he even said he doesn't want to go into the playoffs. He said it's the dreaded playoffs. He wants us to go up. He wants us to go up straight away. Now, yes, okay, that is a little bit arrogant, a little bit naive, but at the same time, I'm happy to hear, you know, that's his intentions. Whether they can do it, that's an absolute other question, isn't it? My worry is that he couldn't really answer that question. I mean, what would you have said? We just try again, I guess. But I don't know. I kind of like the angle he took, really, in a roundabout way. I kind of like the angle he took and just said, we don't want to think about that. We want to just concentrate on being promoted, because let's be honest, where's the ambition lay in this club? For how long now? Could you imagine Jeff saying something like that?
The thing is, what you got to understand here as well, I think, is for a worldwide conglomerate that is Fosun International, that turns over tens and tens and tens of billions of dollars, for every company they've got, they should have 1, 3, 5, and 10-year outlook.
I personally think, Sutty, there is a plan, but I just think it would have gone against the grain a little bit in that circumstance. Do you know what I mean? I think it would have been a little bit more of a negative thing. Now, I personally, and you're probably the same, I want to hear that anyway. I want to hear what happens if this magical plan doesn't happen. But we didn't hear that, you know. And like I said, you can take that two ways, really.
He came across very positive as well, though, didn't he, Danny? He was like, I don't want you guys to think long term. I want you to think about next year and be positive.
Yeah.
It was very like, this is the year, let's all get together kind of thing. Let's not think about the negative or this can happen, because we are pessimistic, because it's the history of the club. Fucking hell. I'm going to say no more about that. But I think through his thing, he was like, come on, guys, we've got 12 months to do this. Let's all pull together and just think about what's in front of you. Don't think of the bad things, what can happen. It's like, we've got 12 months. Let's go for this.
Yeah.
For my final question to you, Dappa, I'm going to ask you both this.
Go on.
You've both sat there for an hour and 10 minutes, or an hour and 40 minutes, like I sat in a room for 3 hours. And when I first come out of the room, I have to admit that I questioned myself a little bit, and I thought, have I been too hard on these people over the last 5 years? Because he sold me a dream here. And I can't make my mind up whether I've bought into it a little bit. Now, initially, it's only 48 hours since the meeting. Me personally now, the dream and this is to do with football as well, because we've seen some turgid football.
Yeah.
So you can take that into account. But the dream I've been sold for me is, as the song goes, it's the impossible dream. And for the size of rebuild that I think we're going to have, personally, I can't see it. I'm trying to be positive here.
No, I agree with you, mate.
I can't see that we're going to bounce straight back up, and that's what worries me with loans that are tied to the ground, that are tied to the football club, big loans, you know, and you have to keep paying loans off, by the way. I've been in this football club when a loan couldn't be paid, and Lloyd's Bank came in and basically said, that's it, in 1982. I was only a young lad, but I remember it vividly, sat next to a radio, listening to it all unfold, almost in tears, because Wolves was my everything as a little boy, and it still is, apart from family. Do you now, after the meeting, are you feeling more positive for next season, or are you still thinking this is a step too far? I'm going to ask you first, Dapper.
Yes, I do. I've got to be. The way I am is positive. Give people the benefit of the doubt. Now, when Fosun came in, and the first 3 years, some great players under Mendes. We got you, Neves, as you know, all the famous people there, guys. Now, if Nathan can rekindle that, or even say 70% of that again, then yes, I do believe it. But like I said in the meeting, it's going to take 150 to 200 million. And if they can move quickly and get a squad together, and I don't trust the other two, if they can get a squad together pretty quick, have a successful pre-season. But the only thing what's stopping me at the minute is Edwards and co. That's the only two people. I might trust Fosun to release the purse strings and give us the finances. But where's that money going to go, Sutty? Which person's going to pick the signings? We don't know that. Because the way them two come across in the meeting, I don't trust it. Do I trust Fosun to release the money? Yeah. Do I trust Nathan to use that money? But I don't think even Nathan trusts these. I've got the feeling coming out the meeting, the way he was, where he said, hang on, I'm still watching the next two games. I've got my eye on you two. He didn't leave them off the hook. So I think he needs to make the right decision, Sutty. Until them two are gone, we can have all the money in the world. We've seen bad money spent the last season. Until we get football people around us and a decent, well, not a decent manager, a cracking manager that's got a great CV, not like Edwards' CV or even Gon's before, the PE teacher. We need a solid manager that's going to kick these around in the training ground and give. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, those fighting in the changing rooms, we need a manager to say, you ain't fucking doing this under my watch. Fosun, money, yeah, they're billionaires. Can they release the money? Yes. Can Nathan trust the people next to him? I'm not so sure about that.
Thanks for that, mate. Sorry, I was laughing there, but I was just reading the comments, and it just there's one comment in there really made me crack up. You'll know which one it is, Dan.
Yeah.
So anyway, what do you think, Dan?
Mate, I'm gonna be honest, man. Like, I came out that meeting, and I said to myself, I was like, sell me on it, make me fucking get my season ticket, make me do it. And my issue is Nathan, right? No problem with him whatsoever, right? Fosun, that's a different fucking ball game, you see. And for me, that chairman would never step foot in that fucking room, right? That's the guy who's giving Nathan the money. And if he says no to him, he ain't going to fucking beg, is he? Do you know what I mean? So I'm still, even though Nathan seems like a good guy, still Fosun out. Because there's no fucking way that they're going to give the money required to have us punch our way out of this league. They don't even realise the gravity of that statement. I've never heard anyone say that that's what they're going to do. It's always been that's what we're going to aim to do. But this is almost like a certainty. And that's what I was saying to Sutty last time. It isn't arrogance. Do I like Nathan Shi? Yes, I do. Do I trust the people that are going to give him the funds needed to make this dream, like Sutty was just saying, an impossible dream? Do I genuinely think they're going to give him that much money? And after that, and that's one thing. After he's got it, do I trust the absolute arsehole that is Matt Jackson to give us players that are needed to make it happen? No, I don't buy into it, right? I like the words, like you said before, Sutty. The words, brilliant. But I can't see them proving it. I really can't. And that is how I left the meeting. I was positive in the fact that we finally got someone in Nathan that is a little bit more to the fans. brilliant. I was positive that Rob was still in it, you know, saying that he wants to do his best. But the problem is, Nathan is just one part of Fosun, and the major thing with Fosun is Chairman Guo, and if he doesn't give Nathan the funds, then we're fucked regardless.
He has to, Dan. He has to give him the funds.
And then the other thing is, if I was Nathan, right, I'd be sat there thinking after that meeting, I've heard everybody out, and he does watch these podcasts, by the way, and that's everyone's. I reckon he's thinking, I'm glad I did that meeting. I'm glad I did that, because I got to see how these people act in times of adversity. Got to see how these people act when the going is tough. And I think he will probably say to himself, well, I've put my money where my mouth is now. So I'm going to try my best to get the funds, and I'm going to give these people my trust and blessings. And I think it's all going to happen. I don't think Rob's going anywhere. I don't think I honestly, genuinely think he's sold on it. And it's going to happen regardless of what we think. But answering the question, I still left with Fosun out. We need a fucking complete and utter reset. Absolute from the ground up to the ground. Like, I just have no trust in any of them, Sutty. I'm sorry. I've got no fucking trust in them.
You see, for me, we've gone from a Dow Boy salesman in Jeff to a very good salesman in Nathan, who's charismatic. He's the bloke who's going to work at the Bentley garage. Jeff was down selling the old Skodas and Ladas. But he could sell ice to Eskimos, I think, this guy. My only thing, like you've just hit it straight on the head, the nail on the head, is he is, and we must never forget this, he's an employee of Fosun International. He does not own this football club. Chairman Zhao owns this football club. We never hear of Chairman Zhao. We're told that he watches every game and he gets upset when we lose. So he must have had an absolute shit show of a year watching us. So for me, we've got a premier salesman in who's pacifying large amounts of the fan base. But if he doesn't deliver to his word, then I'm afraid next year he's going to get absolute pelters. Now, we all know if we're going to punch our way at the Championship, because it's a vile league, the Championship's fucking rubbish. If we're going to punch our way out of it, we've got to spend huge amounts of money. Now, I was sitting on another podcast the other night, watched snippets of it.
No.
Somebody commented on Dappa's part in the forum that he said we need to spend 150 million quid. Now, if you're going to punch your way out, that to me says you're going to win the league. And to do that comfortably, you've got to go and buy players in the ilk of Neves again, a young Neves, a young Jota, a Willy Bolly. You got to go and buy all these players again, right? In that ilk. That's going to cost you a lot of money. But he seemed to think, this other guy, that we'd be spending circa 50, 60 million. Now, if reports that I've heard today are real reports, because the lads that do a lot of reporting on Wolves have claimed today that we're looking at a couple of wingers. One's 1.5 million euros.
Goalie, 2 mil as well, by the way.
Goalkeeper, 2 million. Another winger, 5 million. These are euros.
Bargain bucket.
Now, that 60 million, if you're buying players in that ilk, might well get you a squad, but it ain't getting you a squad that's getting you punching your way out the Championship.
Yeah.
So I think we've been delivered a rough diamond to run the club. Jeff was just shit. He was shit.
Yeah.
We've been given a rough diamond who's charismatic to try and almost pacify us and weather a storm. And let's not forget, if you give me a job that pays £750,000 a year, you can call me all the absolute wankers under the sun, because I'll accept it. I don't care. That's how it goes. But when it comes to football, it's our love, it's our passion, and we will hold you to account. Thanks, lads, for being honest and frank. You were there. And I don't know about you, Dan, but there's got to be people in the green room waiting to get on here on a telephone call to pick questions at you, so I'll sit and listen.
Yeah. Gonna get Jay in. Jay, gonna put you in, my mate. I'm gonna unmute you. Just make sure you're wearing headphones or you've got the stream at a low volume so we don't get any echo, mate. That'll be awesome. Just gonna get you in now, Jay. Hold on a second. How do I do that without seeing the video? Hold on. Let me just get moved over. Sutty, Jay, you there, mate?
All right, mate.
Jay, how you doing, mate? Let me just
Hey, Jay.
Hi, Jay.
All right, Sutty. All right, Uncle Dappa.
Hello, matey.
Go on, Jay. What you got to say, mate?
First of all, I just want to say, when Rob first come in the room, what a fucking picture he had on his face. It was unbelievable. It was like he was like a lamb to the slaughter. You could tell he just did not want to be there at all. So, but fair play to him turning up. Fair play for him putting it all on. Give him a bit of respect for that. Because, you know, Jeff Shi, you'd have had absolutely zero chance of that happening under him. Absolutely zero chance at all.
No way. Wouldn't have happened. Jeff Shi, say the type of person Jeff Shi was, Jay. He used to travel to games, especially away games, on his own. He would have nobody in the car with him. He'd travel there on his own. He was definitely a solo dictator, Jeff. This guy is the polar opposite to Jeff. He will talk to you. He'll crack a little joke with you. He's quite witty. His use of the English language is unbelievably good as well. So there's nothing lost in dialogue with him. But it still remains to be seen whether they lavish lots of money at this, because as was claimed on Tuesday night, they've had a net spend over the last 4 seasons, I believe, of was it £4 million or £2 million, something like that.
2 million. I think the guy said it was about 400k.
400,000. Yeah. Well, you can't run a football club, a Premier League football club like that. I know they've put money in from sales, but you've got to put a bit more of your own in as well. You've got to diversify a little bit and be forward thinking to be able to get money within to inside your club. You might not like this, but you've got to rename stands. You've got to rename football grounds. You've got to rename training grounds to get money through the system.
Yeah.
Now, they could call Compton Folkestone International Training Ground and put loads of money into the club. They could call Molineux. They might not like it, but I'm sure if we was, in the upper echelons of the Premier League, challenging for Europe every season, there ain't many people going to moan about Molineux being called Folkestone International Stadium and things like that. Molineux Folkestone International Stadium. That is football today. I'm going to get pelters for that. I know I am.
That's the way it is now.
you've got to work out ways of filtering money in. Chelsea go and sell a fucking hotel or sell their women's team. Do you know what I mean? So there's ways and means around everything. And it seems to me with this football club that they keep, I think they're able to do it so much this year, but they used PSR as an excuse not to spend.
Yeah.
Instead of looking how they could spend their own money as well as money that was generated. Because if you're an investment company, you want to make your product more wealthy. So when you go to sell it, you bought it for 40 million, they reckon it's worth 400, when it ain't fucking worth 400 now. But if they get us back into the Premier League, they're back up there again. So it's about making your product better for prospective buyers to come in, because they're always looking to sell you as an investment company. Always. Now, I didn't hear this on the interview. I might have missed it on the Radio WM show at the forum. I didn't actually hear anybody ask, why do Fosun want Wolves? Was that asked?
Yeah, it did actually
It
come
was
up.
asked,
That did
yeah.
actually come up.
Did it? And what was their answer to that, Jay?
They said they've moved areas now from they was used to working things, and Wolves is a core part of their business now. That was what Nathan said.
But that's not actually a reason, though, is it? Just
No,
do you see what I'm saying?
That's all he actually said.
They're answering questions, but sort of, how can I put it? It's not a direct. It's not like saying we've bought Wolves for 40 million. We want to get it to 500, then we'll sell it.
Yeah,
they're not saying that, are they? And it's
No.
a little bit like how they're planning for next season. They're begging us all to believe in it. It's almost like trying to brainwash us into believing that we're going to smash our way out of the Championship, but they're not actually giving us a roadmap on how they're going to do it. So people will still be sceptical, and I'm sure over the following weeks, when you've sort of moved away from going in that meeting like I did, you'll start to look at it not in gold tinted glasses again and think, hang on a minute, there's not a fucking lot happening here, really. What are you doing? So what I'm saying to you is, you're very privileged to go to meet these people, 1 or 250 at the moment. I'm privileged because I went. There are times where I wish I hadn't fucking gone, to be honest, because the amount of pelters you get for going and airing your views, and people think you've been sat down having Victoria Sponge and cups of tea with them, when you haven't, and you've basically ripped them a new arse. We must always push them to do 2 of these a year so that we can hold them to account. Because take it from me, if they felt uncomfortable in that one on Tuesday night and things are going a bit peak-tongued come December, oh my God, that ain't going to be a nice experience for them at all. But fair play to you, Jay, for going and listening and holding them to account, son.
Yeah, nice one. Cheers. Yeah, I just want to reiterate what you were saying as well. Matt Jackson, he got off on a bad foot straight away by sticking up for him. I don't know if that's trying to stay on the players' side who they want to keep, the core group, what they keep saying that they want to keep. Maybe he's trying to keep them on side. But other than that, I think he should have just kept his mouth shut, really, when everyone started clapping, because it just did, it did nothing for his image at all towards the fans at that point, really. It didn't do himself any favours with the fans there at all. Maybe he did with the players who want to stay. He can say, "Oh, stuck up for you." Maybe that was his remit in there. But other than that, everything else he was saying, no one was really interested, because he'd already pissed us off, basically.
Mate, I thought he acted like a fucking lawyer. Yeah, he's almost like we were offending like his fucking client or something. Like he you know what I mean? He didn't have to say anything. He was under absolutely no obligation whatsoever to say anything at all. He could have literally just.
It wasn't actually a question aimed at him,
No, it
asking him
wasn't.
if he thought that.
No,
you
it
know
wasn't.
what I mean? The point was that you've said you're going to smash your way out, Like Dappa said, 150, 200 million needs to be spent. That was the main point of the question. He just added on, these players, they don't care, sort of thing. So he didn't actually have to say anything on that part, if you get what I mean. He could have just gone on about the money part of it, but he decided that he wanted to stick up for these players that we've seen week in, week out, turn out shit every week. And, I don't know why he decided to do that, but, it's on him, any. It's him that pissed everyone off, and he's just made a rod for his own back a bit there.
Yeah. He tried to control the room, didn't he?
Yeah, 100%. And again, like you say, Nathan Shi comes out well, innit? Well, I came out there just thinking nothing's really changed for me. It's just words, and it's all words. We can all say we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do the other, but at the end of the day, it all boils down to the actions. And the one thing he did say in previous seasons, one of the mistakes we've made is buying too late in the window and with them paying a premium. So I want to see signings coming in early doors, because the World Cup's coming up as well. So you need the players in, and with the amount that's going to leave, you need a good pre-season with these players, not people turning up, 5 and 6 players turning up at the last week of the window when there's already a couple of games been played. It's going to be no good. The horse is going to already have bolted by then. It's going to be too late.
Did he not say as well that they're already deep in discussion with many players? He said
with a few players, yeah, he did say that, yeah.
So if that's the case, if he's deep in discussion with lots of players now, then come the day the window opens, I can't remember what date the window opens in June, to be honest. Come the day then if we're deep in discussion, then they should be signed. Or is he deep in discussion with players that are wanting to leave? Because it works both ways here.
Yeah, of course it does, yeah, 100%.
He didn't actually say it was for incoming players. He just said we're deep in discussion with players. So could be deep in discussion with a shitload that want to just leave. So what we can't afford to do is do what we always do and get to the end of August when the transfer deadline day comes and 11 o'clock at night, turn around and say, we've worked so hard, we've tirelessly, but just couldn't get them across the line. Do not hit us with that, because you will. Honestly, that is it then.
We've heard it too many times now. It's every window's the same bullshit after bullshit. We don't want to hear it no more. We've heard it too many times. No one's going to believe it anymore. That you've shot your load on that one.
Yeah, you can't use that excuse anymore. Planning is everything, and if they've not planned properly, then I'm pretty sure, if they think this season's been bad, and I for one think that we backed off them a bit too soon, but that's a different story. Then they best get themselves ready, because Molineux will be a lot emptier, as is in the Championship. We've all been through seasons. We've spent season after season in that fucking league where we've had between 21 and 23,000 there. And it's not the same. But what you will find is the 21 to 23,000 are the ones that are going to fucking hold you to account.
Yeah, 100%.
The other 7 or 8,000 will be the ones that just go, oh well, don't really matter.
Well, they're the ones that just come for the glory anyway, don't they? Really, that's it. They're the glory hunters. Sorry if that offends anyone, but that's the people who come for the glory. You know what I mean? For the new nowadays, isn't it?
They're fucked up with this club because there ain't been much glory here, has there?
Can I just say though, when he was a little bit under the cosh, Matt Jackson, on the answer, is there any players lined up? He fucking hesitated for a good while, didn't he? And then at one point, Dappa next to me went, "So no, then." But it weren't audible on the thing. But literally, Dappa's like, "So no one then." So no one.
You can't explain it. You can't explain it in front of the room. It was just his body language. He was looking around people's thing, and he was all
didn't
me,
seem
me,
to have
me.
a genuine answer, did he? But everyone's taken on account what he said. But if you were actually in that room, mate, he did not seem too confident about that. Whether he was trying not to give away too much.
To be honest, sorry, mate. Sorry.
Go on.
I was going to say, to be honest, the only two things that come out of his mouth that I was even interested in was the part where he was saying the types of players that we can sign due to the visas and the point system and stuff like that, and the way that young players are being, stolen from us basically.
Yeah.
By greedy agents in a way, trying to get money out of them. That was the only two worthwhile things that I think I heard the guy say that I was really interested in. Anything else, I wasn't interested. I wasn't even listening to him really. He was talking shit.
Well, that's my point. That's his strong points.
You're right.
That's his strong points down there with the kids, like, so to speak. That's his domain. When he comes up to the big league and making big decisions, the bloke's a bell end.
The only thing I can hope.
Sorry, Joe, I'll quickly say this. For me, I can remember being in a meeting in January, and I want to give him a shout out here because he don't pull no punches. Little Dan off the Fancast.
Oh yeah, legend.
He asked him, how did we recruit players like Neves, Jota, Rui Patricio, Johnny Otto, all of these great players, Raul, Neto, or just it's endless, really, isn't it? There's that team photo of them in the Europa League where they're all, I mean, it was just magical, really. How did we recruit those players? And this season we've got this bunch of players, and his reply was, "You don't realise how difficult it is to sell Wolverhampton Wanderers to a player." At which point, little Dan, I thought he was going to blow a gasket. And he actually went for him and said, he basically said, "Fuck off, I'm not having that." What's different 5 years ago to now? And he reiterated again, he said, well, they just don't want to come to Wolves. Or why don't they want to come to Wolves? Why don't they want to come to Wolverhampton Wanderers? And the only thing that you can look at is that the remit on this football club changed drastically 5 years ago when I started calling them out. And it's got worse and worse. And they were fully reliant on always having the three sides that come up would go straight back down. And that's caught up with us. There is no ambition at this football club. I don't remember hearing Nathan Shi. We certainly didn't say in our meeting that we would be competitive and go all out to try and win the odd cup, try and get into Europe every other year. What he actually said was, we want to be a sustainable Premier League side. So that means they're not really going to push on, but they want to be there. Well, obviously they want to be there because just TV money alone is, I think it's about 70 in the Premier League a year. Well, it goes down to about 13 in the Championship. That's a huge drop in money and incoming money. So this owner has got to come clean on his intentions for this football club and what he plans to do with it. Nathan Shi, unfortunately, nice lad as he is, because he is a lad compared to me, it's just a puppet for the owner. Go over there, pacify them, smile at them, answer their questions, give them their fan forums, and let's see if we can get back up. But don't want to spend too much money doing it. And that is what
do
you think.
Do you think that's a Fosun and a Joe thing than it is a Nathan or a Jeff thing?
Oh, absolutely. I think if you said to Nathan Shi, here's 200 million. Spend every money you can generate from players, and just dip into the coffers a little bit. Let's smash our way out of this league. Like you've said, we're going to punch our way out. I think he would do it. Jeff, on the other hand, Jeff likes the look of a spreadsheet that looked like, oh, I bought Neto for 9 million and I've just got 64 off Chelsea for him. Bought Cunha for 43 million and we got 65 off Man United. And I'm doing well, and the governor in China is saying, yeah, you're doing well, Jeff, crack on, just keep going. Look good this does. Because we ain't never going to get relegated. Well, fuck me. We've got relegated, all right, and in a very, very worrying fashion, because now we're at a point at this football club, we are at a crossroads here. Make no mistakes about it. Nathan can want us to be as positive as anything, but with positivity has to come reality. And the reality of this football club is we are in the shit, right? If they don't come out and provide us with a clear structure of how they're going to smash their way out of this championship, punch their way out, whatever they said, then I'm still not very believing, unfortunately. And for me, any chairman worth his salt would be looking either side of him to his head of recruitment and his manager, his head coach, whatever you want to call it nowadays, and look at the absolute hardline facts on a piece of paper that's the Premier League table, and look at that. And I'm not sure that Nathan swears like I do, but I'm pretty sure he looks at that and goes, fuck me. That is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable.
Agreed.
I've got no chance. And if he's got any bollocks, if he's got the bollocks and he's really, really serious, then he must start at the top and get a manager who's got some gravitas and some pulling power, and say to him, right, I've got you £100 million. I'm just plucking that out, by the way. Don't shoot the messenger. £100 million. There you go. I'm going to pay you 70, 80 grand a week, £3.5 million a year. You're a 3-year contract. You've got to get me up at the first time of asking. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And unless we've got that mindset,
well, I think that's what's happened. Sutty, the last 6 years, that little pillock, he had 124 grand pay rise. So if you're bringing money up to the foes and the group, how's things down there? What's going? You all right? Because yeah, I'm fucking great. All we've got to do is survive. I'll give you a few quick, because we're selling Cunha and we're selling Ayanori every year. We'll get the next mob in, which was going to be Manetzi, Wolf, Arias. It's not fucking happened. He's come a cropper, isn't he? So the gaffers now is going, well, hang on, you said to me everything's all right down there. I can see the spreadsheet's great. I'm giving you a little bonus, what you deserve. Like if anyone's working for you, Sutty, and they're doing well, you give them a little Christmas bonus. Well, that's their bonus. So if he's not really, like you said, he's not looking at the whole situation, he's just looking down from afar. But remember, this bloke owns pharmaceutical companies, blah, blah, blah. He's looking at little old Wolves. He's saying to Jeff, everything all right down there? Fucking hell, the spreadsheet is doing well. This little prick then has come a cropper because he got VP in, and that fucking ghouly looking fucker. And they've said to VP, well, that little prick has said to VP, oh, you're the gaffer now. You and that fucking ET looking fucking thing. You can run everything now. Okay. What Jeff's done there, Sutty, he's gone, where's your top 5? VP's getting him his top 5. Who do you want? Want that striker? His name fucking Nico. How much is he on a week? 100 grand. Oh, what's number 2 on? 80. Oh, and we've gone down to number 5. He's on fucking 40 grand. Let's go for that one. So VP has done he's done pre-season. He's got to get some players in, and he's gone to Jeff, well, you better get me them then, because I need fucking bodies. And lo and behold, that little prick has sold everybody down the fucking road, because all he wanted to do is show the big dog upstairs a spreadsheet what was successful. And when you're a football club, you don't fucking make money. You lose money. And
as well, they always want to keep George happy. And because 20%
that was right,
of
Dan,
everything
yes.
they earn, it goes straight back into their pockets. So they're always going to want to target off him rather than a target off wonderful Matt Jackson.
Well, let's face it, we've had a couple of managers who've been on the cusp of having a top 7 finish, top 6 finish. Bruno Lage was fighting for top 4. It gets to a January, he asks for players. You don't get no players. You end up going on a stupid losing run. Even that knobhead O'Neill, you know, we ended up going into a FA Cup quarter final with a load of kids and stuff like that because they failed to.
Well, yeah,
give
we're
us some
playing
money
fucking
when
Ryan Nori as a striker.
Loads of injuries, loads of injuries and stuff like that. And you know, he ain't doing too bad in the table. And then all of a sudden, you go on a mad losing streak again because they ain't giving the managers what they need, are they? So it just remains to be seen, doesn't it? I'll gladly hold my hands up and say if Matt Jackson can do a good job, if Rob Edwards can do a good job, we want him to do a good job. But I don't think they've got the tools required. But if they can, I'll happily hold my hands up and say I was fucking wrong. Like, you know what I mean,
mate? If we get a team and we're promoted, right? I will get a tattoo of Nathan Shi's face somewhere on my body because it ain't happening. Mate, hold it to me because I'd rather be wrong and have a fucking shit tattoo.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just it is just absolutely madness to think that would happen.
You should have it just below your belly button, Dan.
I'll have it somewhere. Poor wife.
Great call, Jay.
Thanks very much, Jay.
Brilliant.
Appreciate you, mate.
Catch you later.
Bye, mate.
Right, mate. Right.
Don't have him on again, guys.
Don't like him. Sharky.
Sharky.
Have I muted you, son? Hold on.
Yeah. Hello, fella.
Hi, Sharky.
There he is. Sharky.
All right, thank you.
I might get a bit more lippy tonight. Seems I'm not in front here.
Fucking scared the shit out of him, Dave, at the Billy
Right.
Right.
To be fair, wasn't it?
Give us your take on the meeting then, Sharky.
Do you know what? I think it came out with, like what Dappa said earlier, like a little bit of hope for next year. Thinking that, you know, they'd probably make similar signings like they did when they first came in. But I feel like the more and more you sit here and think about it, we didn't get anything out of them.
No. They were very tight-lipped, weren't they, mate?
Out of them. I mean, I'd say, like, when you think about Matt, like, you was asking him questions, didn't really give any real plan or any kind of answers to why. And then most of the time when he was talking, it was like he was trying to come across as human. You know what I mean? Like, woe is me. Like, Nathan, I have a family. Like, remember, I've been passed from pillar to post. Remember? You know what I mean? Definitely felt like he was trying to make sure he's the man to restore his reputation. I suppose he hasn't even really got yet, and he's trying to build himself this job. You know what I mean? He says he's got ambition, but you're sticking with a guy that's got 3 wins in, you know, since he's been here. We haven't we've changed nothing. He's basically sat there throughout saying, "No, I need you all to think longer term. I need you all to think about next year and how good it's going to be, guys. You know what I mean? Forget about this next 2 games." And then Nathan looks at him, cuts his eyes. Like, I mean, no, the last 2 games are important to me, mate.
Did you take out what I did, Sharky? That the 2 of them, Edwards and Jackson, was out the depth.
That they looked like each other's best mates. It literally looked like Nathan was a separate entity. Like, at the end of the day, Matt and Rob was butting in at the end of each other's little statements and going, "Oh, can I just add?" or something like that.
Yeah.
They were waiting for each other to finish speaking and helping each other along. That's how it felt. You know, they're talking about a triangle and the chain of command and everything, and they're not really giving an answer.
The body
You know,
language
people
as well.
asking these questions. I'm not joking, Dan. I was getting wound up throughout the whole thing because in my eyes, and it was so clear, it wasn't on the recording because they wouldn't put that on. But Daz Hale said, I'm going to ask a few questions and then I'm going to leave it down to you guys. And that's how you'll know it's validated that way. And, you know, there's nothing pre-planned. And then what does he do? He asks 2 or 3 questions, good questions. Every time Daz spoke, good questions. He comes across great. But in the room, there was multiple people with their hands up that wanted to ask questions off the back of answers. And he was moving on. And although the point he brought up was good, he didn't read the room at all. And they were happy to answer then. But then they still didn't give answers. Do you know what I mean? I think the only thing that Nathan can be held account for is to get some business done early. And then he's done the only thing he's promised. Do you know what I mean?
It's just down to them, isn't it? But did you not think, like, the guys, did you not think the body language was there as well? Like, felt like Rob was really, like, far back. His microphone was like here, like this. Yeah. You got fucking...
As soon as they were talking about anything about past mistakes or anything to do with Fossen or Matt or any decisions with Jeff, Rob had his tongue in his cheek looking around the room. Like, I think he was just, you know, head counting or something. Like, he weren't interested. It's almost like, well, you know, that all happened before me. But in my eyes, this squad ain't as bad as what we've got on the board. It just isn't.
I agree with that.
It just isn't. And I'm sorry, but, you know, I get that the players have turned up for Liverpool and Villa and shit like that.
They didn't max out then, did they, mate?
I mean, for me, I keep saying this. A good manager, not the best manager, a good manager gets his squad to 14th, 15th. And then we're having a completely different conversation here, aren't we? But we've had a manager who's not blameless in Vitor Pereira, because him and Domenico Tetti gave a list of players they wanted in each position they wanted. They certainly didn't get number 1s and 2s. I think Krejci was a number 1 or a number 2, but the rest were definitely 4s and 5s. So you could almost say that they spent 100 million quid, still made a net profit of 17 million last season, by the way. So you could say they spent 100 million quid, but it has been spent so poorly. And I'll go back to it again. The person that signs these deals off, or those deals, was Mr. Jeff Shi. Now, as Dappa's just said, if he wanted the centre forward, I can absolutely 100% guarantee you that number 1 was not Tolu. Absolutely not. Tolu's on about 50 grand a week. Well, number 1 would have been 100, as he's just said. It's exactly that. Because as we've always said, Jeff looks at a spreadsheet, doesn't look at the player, looks at a spreadsheet. Jeff was the biggest culprit out of all the club that thought, well, the 3 that come up will go down, we'll be all right. And the proof is in the pudding, because for the last 3 to 4 years, our wage budget has been 17th in the Premier League. Now, you ain't got a lot of wiggle room with 17th, because there's an old saying, and it goes like this: you get what you pays for. And we've paid peanuts for a lot of players. Not so much last year. I think we overpaid massively for some of them because they're so shit. But you pays peanuts, and unfortunately, he gets monkeys. And that's what we've ended up with over the course of a 5-year period. We've gone from not world-class players. We've never had world-class players. A world-class player for me is somebody that would get into a world 11. But we've had squad players that would get in and around a world 11, down to what I deem now. I would say we've got players that not even good enough for the bottom half of the Championship.
I agree.
Yeah, and there's, like you say, after you look at Edwards, if he's going to be the man for this job, after 25, 28 games, you go, what is his strengths? What's his formation? What does he like to play? I'll tell you what he's good at, guys, set pieces. Okay, we might lose the game. We've showed some headers and some snot and some tackling. Fuck me, we ain't half good at set pieces. That's one thing we can take to the Championship or a certain tactic. What certain tactic is that bloke bringing to us next year, tactically wise? What's his strength? Sorry, Sharky.
Go on, sorry, carry on.
No, you carry on, mate.
I just thought, if you think, like, he's brought in 2 players, Armstrong and Angel, playing Armstrong in a 10, and then it doesn't look like he knows how to use Angel. So the 2 examples he's been given so far to show us what he can do, and he's not integrated either of them into any top. This is what I mean. I said this outside before we went in. I said whenever them players are on the pitch, they're all individuals. You don't see midfielders bouncing off each other. You don't see people saying, where the fuck was you? You know what I mean? Where was you when I needed you? You just see arms being flyed about to make it look like you give a shit.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
No leaders
work on that pitch at all.
No leaders.
Not at all.
You ain't got to be the best player, but if you're a good leader, who they're a little bit wary of, because a good leader at half time at Brighton would have gone through you lot like a dose of the shit for that performance. The manager, the head coach, wouldn't have to say anything to him about attitude. Your leader would go in there and call every single one of you out for that performance. And if that had been Connor Cody in there, he would have called every single one of them out and said, you're fucking not fit to wear the shirt at the moment, the way you're playing. The manager would have to do that. Not a chance. And we haven't had anybody with any bollocks as a head coach, really since Lopetegui, that had any sort of pulling power or clout. But Lopetegui sent through these fucking charlatans straight away and bullshitted him. You can say what you like about him. On paper, the most successful manager we've ever had because he's won European trophies. So if you let the likes of him down, then and shit sticks. You see, worldwide, everybody now knows managers, players, coaches, any kind of staff know Wolves, to be honest, it's not the easiest club to come and work for.
Yeah.
Well, he did contradict himself, Edwards, because there was a question about the under-23s and bringing them through. And he goes, I'll take this, Jackson. He said, we got to be careful with these kids and their development.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
And then, lo and behold, we got a 17-year-old, just turned 18 now. He's played 18 fucking games on the bounce. He's taken the corners, he's taken the set pieces. And like I said before, we've got internationals, Brazilians, and they can't take set pieces and stuff like that, Sutty. But he said we have to be careful with the under-23s, and he's just smashed these kids to bits.
Highlighting every single moment the kid has, even more so, sticking him on corners and making him... Them matter. When you play as shit as we do, a corner matters. And then you're giving it to a kid that hasn't built that level of consistency.
He's ruined him, to be honest. That's why he's staying next week's season. He's fucking ruined him. He's absolutely ruined him.
He comes on and makes a difference, and then you don't see him. You get 40 seconds at the end of a game, yet he's saying he's not good enough. You can't tell me that the players on this pitch and better standard than half the lads we have in that academy. Do you know what I mean? You just can't say that when we're as shit as we am. You've got to show...
You know what it is, Sharky? Sutty said he sets up not to lose, and when he does lose, he throws his fucking dummy out the pram, and then now, because we're towards the end of the season, he said, they're not fucking good enough, they've all got to go.
You know, it's been that bad.
He's their best mate.
Yeah, it's been that bad this season that, I mean, it's as bad as I've known it, for money spent anyway, that I ain't even had any local sides really take the piss out of me. Normally that would be like really being driven home now. And the only thing somebody said to me the other day, good mate of mine who's an Albion supporter, he said, Sut, he said, don't worry, mate, you ain't got no VAR to worry about next year. I said, I ain't fucking worried about it this year because we never get to have our own fucking half. So that don't make a fucking difference anyway to me.
No.
Yeah, that's true, mate. Anyway, I'm going to call the show shortly. But I just wanted to sort of address something that really pissed me off earlier, listening to other people talking. Because I listen to everyone really, and listen to their own opinions. I had a lot of people ridiculing people for asking questions at this meeting. Now, if you're going on account, you've got your hand up in the air, that takes a lot of bottle. Now, if you're a journalist, that's a different fucking scenario, isn't it? You're trained to say the right things, and you're trained to make sure that whatever you say has got an extra layer to it if there's an answer. These people, when on account, knew they were going to be recorded and asked the questions that they wanted to ask. Don't ridicule people for asking questions in a forum, regardless of how you find that question, because you're jealous because you weren't in the same fucking room. Now, absolutely, the colour of the shirt, yes, okay, that probably doesn't have and bear as much weight as some of the questions that were asked. But at the same time, that was on that person's mind, and that's what that person wanted to ask. Don't fucking ridicule them. And then the other thing with the liquidator, I've heard people go, "Oh, they're talking about the liquidator again. Oh, is that all we're going to bring up? Oh, blah, blah." Fuck you, because let's be honest, we need to be united at this fucking at Molineux, and at the moment, as Dappa said, the only songs we're fucking singing are about players that aren't even here anymore. We need all the help we can get in the hymn sheet. And it's just so happens that one song covers generations of people. So they will all get on the same ballpark and they will all get off their feet and sing the fucking song, regardless of it having swear words in it, for Christ's sake. Grow up, man. Don't keep ridiculing people for doing things that you wouldn't do, or if you did do it, you'd probably say some things that someone else would ridicule. Get off your high horse, stop being a dickhead, and just let people have their say. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest because I'm sick 100%. To death of hearing journalists who weren't in that room talking shit about fans that want to say what they want to say. I couldn't give a fuck. Let them say what they want to say.
And one don't even support the Wolves, Dan.
There you go. There you go. At the end of the day, right, we were in there, right? There was some honest discussion. I had a fucking notebook. Dappa, Sharky, you can say that, can't you? I had a notebook, right? And every question I was looking, right, that one's been answered, lovely. I'm going to put my hand up for that. Right, that one. And right at the end, there was another 10 minutes, would you say? 20 minutes to say. I thought, right, everyone's said their say now. No one's addressed this fucking thing that I want to talk about. So I put my hand up until my fucking arm was sore. But because one dickhead at the front, right, eyeballing me, probably saying, don't fucking choose him, because he's probably going to say the one thing that no one said, which is, why the fuck did it take Fosun this long to get Jeff out of this football club? Because Nathan is clearly a much better candidate to do the job. Why did it take him that fucking long? And why did it take us going, in the fucking cold, holding up signs, right, to do that? And my question would have been, would Jeff Shi even be sat there had it not been for us as supporters, not the trust, not Fab, not all these fucking people? Would it have been the case had we not protested? That was going to be my question. But you know for a fucking fact that fish-faced fuck at the front could not take his eyes off me. Couldn't fucking take his eyes off me. He was never going to let me have a question. Not a fucking Scooby. Sharky, I'm surprised he even let me in the fucking door, to be honest. But there we go. And you know me, Sutty, Dappa, everyone on Discord, everyone everywhere, I say it as it fucking is. And that's how it should be. Right.
But the others don't, Dan. The other channels don't, that's why.
Well, that's up to them. That's a different debate. You can say what you want on the internet. and you don't have to say it all on the internet. But then, end of the day, that's what this is all about. And thank you so much to everyone who shook my hand, said what they wanted to say in person about the show, about Sutty. You know, thank you so much for everyone getting involved, man, because it means a big deal, to be fair. Because we have been, to be honest, we have been a bit of a black sheep for quite a while, the Wolfpack. We're a little bit of one of them where we say it how it is, but no one really likes that. They want it to all be merry. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like that at the moment. This season hasn't been fucking merry. But I'll leave you with that because I think it's important. What you say as a fan matters, regardless of the weight of the question. What you say as a fan matters, and Sutty will go down on record of this. He will take his flag wherever the fuck he wants. He will say whatever he wants, right? And that goes to anybody. If you aren't happy with this football club, the ownership, etc., say what you want, go on any channel you want, do whatever the fuck you want to do, right? Because the only people that don't want you to do those things are the three fuckers that were in front of us that day. Simple as that.
Do you want to drop the exclusive, Dan?
It's not really an exclusive, but someone came up to us at the end. Really nice guy, to be fair, and said that he had a word with Nathan. Said, I think a real good idea would be to get someone in who's been here, who knows the club, and who can score a goal or two. And he said, and that's Raul Jimenez. And Nathan said, and this is his words, and I'll get it in the comments because I can't quite remember his name, but I'll get the person that said it. I'm not taking credit for any of this. But he told us, and you were there, Dappa, you were there, Sharky, that he said that he's going to have a meeting with Raul Jimenez. I don't know whether that's after the Fulham game, I don't know whether that's after the end of the season, I don't know what it is. But at the end of the day, that would be a big addition to this football club, both with leadership, both with goals scored, to reunite the fans. It would be a huge addition to us. And I know that some of Raul's family watches various different YouTube's things. And if they're watching right now, in open arms, my friend, with Mexican flags fucking everywhere, with what's that fucking, the wrestlers fucking masks on, all of that shit. Yeah, Sin Cara, all of that shit, mate. Get him here, right? Because that would be huge.
We're smiling already, look. And it's a 34-year-old striker, do you know, Joe? But the affiliation he's got with the fans and everything, that'd be a statement.
Dapper, do you want to display the outro music, mate? I think you know what I mean.
Dun 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 dun. We're Wolf.